So what up, man? Sorry about that. Wayne Hennessy, UGC, what up? What up? What up? Good morning to everybody. If you're someplace else, good afternoon. Peace and power. All power to the people. And it's boxing talk today. Yeah, we're going on Lisa Bales. Blessed. Yeah, man, hit the like button, definitely. Stop jam up, hit the like button, please. I appreciate that. Yeah, man, what are we talking about today, man? So I guess a few people are talking about the new UFC game and with the guest athletes, the guest fighters, which they've done this before. I think at one point a UFC game had Bruce Lee in there. And I think also they had Mike Tyson in another one. I think the one before they had in Mike Tyson. Well, in this one, they have Anthony Joshua and they have Tyson Fury, the two current champions in boxing, heavyweight boxing. Anthony Joshua, of course, the 4-belt unified champ. Tyson Fury, the 1-belt champ right now. Well, guy who has a WBC belt. You ain't no champ until you friggin' defend. So anyway, both of them dudes are in this trailer. A lot of people are happy. I mean, it's pretty cool, actually. And my question is, where's Deontay Wilder, man? Where is Deontay Wilder? Why people keep disrespecting Deontay Wilder, man? Deontay Wilder is there too. Is it that Deontay Wilder is because he's not a champ? Mike Tyson wasn't a champ, but Mike Tyson's a legend. According to Deontay Wilder, he would knock out Mike Tyson. Where is Deontay Wilder? Why is Deontay Wilder not in the UFC game? That's disrespectful. Boxing finesse. What's going on, man? Blessed. Y'all keep disrespecting my guy Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder needs to be in the UFC game. He's the most popular American heavyweight there is. I mean, let's face it. He is the most popular American heavyweight. But this is not strange because remember a while ago, Dana White, before he kind of flip-flopped, Dana White was talking about he wanted to offer Anthony Joshua this big money. He wanted to offer Anthony Joshua. This is when he wanted to get into boxing. And Dana White was all over Anthony Joshua. They were talking about offering Anthony Joshua big money. Right? Then he flip-flopped now, and now it's all about Tyson Fury. But Anthony Joshua is in the game, and Tyson Fury is in the game. And I need to know, why is Deontay, the Bronze Bomber, not in the game? Call Al. I agree. They need to call Al. I mean, come on, man. Deontay Wilder needs some love in this place, man. That man needs some love. You can't tell me Tyson Fury came over here and made himself into a big star. And Deontay Wilder, who's been here his whole, well, not here, but in America, his whole career, still not getting no love. How is UFC, an American company, not going to put the American heavyweight, well, the most popular American heavyweight in their game? How's that? Could people in the chat please tell me, should Deontay Wilder be in the UFC game or not? Please. I would be offended. I would be offended. I remember people saying that Tyson Fury came over to America to ride on Deontay Wilder's coattails. That Tyson Fury was trying to take Deontay Wilder's fans. How are you going to let this former cokehead come to America and become more popular than you? People kept telling me all the time that America is where it's at, man. American fighters are the most popular, man. Well, here you have an American company pushing two non-American fighters. Who's to blame? Why is Deontay Wilder not getting no love? These are the types of crossover type opportunities that would be good for Deontay Wilder. If I was Deontay Wilder's people, I would call Dana White and say, "Look, man, you need to put my guy in there, okay? You're not going to take as much polygons because he's not a big dude, so it's not a lot. It's not a lot of resources for the graphic designers because Deontay Wilder is about what 215 or some shit. So it's just a little bit of molding and shit like that. What up, Black?
What's up, King?
Why y'all hating on Deontay Wilder? Why is Deontay Wilder not in an American video game of an American company?
But this is a UFC game, you say though?
Yeah.
Why would Deontay Wilder be in a UFC game?
Well, Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury is in the game.
But Deontay Wilder is left off.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's chess, man, not checkers.
Man, it's fucked up, man. I watched it. I was like, at first I didn't have a plan. I was like, damn, that's fucked up. How you don't let a man? Anthony Joshua got stopped in America, but he's still in the game. Oh, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, you're right. He did get stopped in America. His only fight.
What the fuck is going on, bro? It just speaks to like when you spend your time wasting your time fighting nobodies, people can come to your country and just get opportunities that you don't get. Is it because he's black?
Man, hey, you know what though? I said this too, man. Some time back that UK invaded America, man.
Yeah,
they invaded, man, and they taking over, man. They getting they shine, and while we over here iced out, choker chains, anklets, and prestigious, and all of that, they coming over here with wanting all the smoke and putting on sombreros. They putting Apollo Creed's old uniform before he got murked by Ivan Drago.
Yeah.
And they with it. They doing their thing, man. And while we sitting back watching the show, we in the audience now.
I'm telling you, man, something wrong, man. Like, I'm like, man, like, because at first I was like, I know, but then again, that's cool or whatever. Then I was like, yo, Deontay Wilder is the most popular American heavyweight. Am I right or wrong? Is he not the most popular American heavyweight?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
By far, that's not even close, right?
Right.
I'm like, hey, yo, well, Lisa Bale say,
well, I think it's up for argument this year because Jerry Miller popped twice, but I still think Deontay. But yeah, Jerry Miller you can debate because with this PED thing, Jerry Miller kind of his stock went all the way up, as far as popularity. Like everybody know who Jerry Miller is now. But Deontay, he definitely is still the most popular.
Yeah. So I'm saying like man had 10 defenses because that's the narrative that these PBC people want me to run with, that he's 10 defenses, so he don't have to be unified. And if all of that is the issue, if all that's real, I mean, shit, the man should be at least in the game. Is it because he took it? Well, Lisa says it's because UFC is connected to ESPN. Anthony Joshua's not on the ESPN.
I think Marcelo's messed it up. I think that was the last draw, man. That Marcelo's thing, the autopsy, that probably eliminated him. They probably had him and they just deleted him off the game right at that moment. Marcelo's messed it up for him. But hey, when you get humiliated in your own country, man, like that, who knows? Maybe they just say, we can't have this. This is not admirable stuff. Yeah, they looked at it like AJ got stopped, but in a whole different country. You got stopped in your own.
Damn.
So you can make your own game while you at it.
Ibrahim Mail says, hey, I hope I said that right, man. It looks like mail to me. But anyway, Ibrahim says Deontay is not his own boss to get his image rights. You have to call Al and Finkel, and whatever money offered will be considered lowball. Oh, y'all crazy.
Yep.
He also says Anthony already has endorsements with EA Sports. he was already on a few games. Fury got in on his own newfound fame. Wow.
Wow, man. Hey, from the couch to the UFC game, bro.
Well, okay.
From
JP
from
says
four,
Wilder is not on the UFC game because he's not a champion. If Fury lost, Wilder would be in the game. Mike Tyson was no champion. Bruce Lee was in the game. Bruce Lee's dead.
Rest in peace, Bruce Lee. Facts.
Whatever, man. What up, Martin Machine? Hey, let me pick up everybody in the chat, man. My brethren, Charles D, Boxing Finesse, Ibrahim, Baby Thing that. Whoever else, Wayne Hennessy was in here. The Queen Lisa Bales is in here. And JP, who just came in. Anybody else want the link, you can get in here. No trolls, please. So, Black, anything else on that whole Wilder not being in the game? Nothing else?
I mean, like one of the comments that you just read, man, they said that maybe if Deontay Wilder would have beat Fury, he would have been in the game. So maybe it was just the timing. It was bad timing for Deontay. He lost, and that just got him withdrawn from that game sweepstakes.
But damn, I mean, look, man, if I'm Deontay Wilder's people, I'm gonna have to speak to Dana White. This will be a good opportunity. Okay, it's not a boxing game, obviously. We get it. It's not a boxing game, but it's a good. It's a good opportunity to have a crossover type thing, right? I mean, this will be great. Like more notoriety for you and all that. I think that'll be good for Deontay Wilder.
But well, man, hey, but he had big dreams before that loss, man. He had big dreams. He was supposed to do, I think, Clubber Lang's son.
Yeah, right. He was supposed to be right. All that shit. Right, so, he wanted to be an actor, all that, right?
Remember we were talking about all this, man. When how this dude he's pursuing this Hollywood thing more than trying to be one face, one name, and that's just how that went. Now we're gonna see if these roles come from Creed and whatever video game he want to get on in the future.
Yeah, man. I'm saying, man. I just like thought about it. I was like, damn. I mean, American company, American video game. Is EA still an American company? Anyway, UFC is, and the most popular American heavyweight is not in the game. It was kind of odd to me, but whatever, man. Anywho, we're gonna move on quickly. I need your opinion, Black. What's up with Keith Thurman getting at Errol Spence?
Well, I mean, I saw a headline. I didn't go deep into it because at this point, I look at Keith like, man, you lost out on a lot of opportunities, man. You let some time slip away. Unfortunate injuries, new marriage and maybe lack of motivation or whatever the case, and bad night or whatever, staying up, gambling too long, whatever the case, man. But Errol Spence already emphasized that he's not interested in no Keith Thurman. At the time when Errol Spence wanted to smoke, Keith acted like he didn't exist. So he's just returning the same energy to him. I can't be mad at Errol for that because Keith is in a position that he's in because he lost. So he lost to Manny, and yeah, you can call out Errol Spence all you want, but that man got a whole lineup of people that want to get at him. So you just got to get in line.
Right. That's awesome. Let me see if I find the article. So Keith did say, and I quote, "Everyone is gunning for him. And if he wants to stay champion, he's going to have to answer to everybody or follow after his predecessor and dodge everybody and pick who he chooses," Thurman said. "He's faced some of my competition, but he's never faced me. I did that with Errol when he fought Sean Porter. I got a lot of people that think the way I beat Porter was better. Errol is going to have to give me my respect one way or another. If he doesn't want to see me at 147, he's going to have to leave the division." So who is he talking about when he says follow after his predecessor and dodge everybody? Who he talking about?
Money, 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 money.
You bullshitting. You talking about money, man?
Money. that man took it there, huh? Okay. Man. All right. Hey, Floyd never gave Keith that work. So
yeah, right. I know Keith at that time was a young gun, gunning for everybody, but it was like, man, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, you know what I mean? But at that time too, I was riding for Keith because I'm like, I respect number one contenders. I respect mandatories,
Yeah.
And the same reason, the same energy I had with Canelo, or the same energy I had with Floyd then. Like, man, fight this dude. Who cares that you got all this money, man? This guy's at the top of your sanctioning body fighting.
So Keith was his mandatory?
Yeah. For Floyd. He was that number one, bro.
Hey, people in the chat, if you hear me asking these questions, I am a casual. I am not a boxing hardcore fan. I am a casual. I watch boxing on and off.
We don't have all the answers, but I know about that Keith and that Floyd situation, how that Errol Spence action came into the equation because they was trying to misdirect. Yeah. Keith was pressing Floyd, and Floyd was like, no, you need to fight Errol. I'm like, huh? I'm like, who is this fucking Errol Spence dude? Like, Keith is at the top of your sanctioning body. Why are you trying to throw another dude in the mix? Fight this dude, Keith, man. Like, you Floyd Mayweather. We know what you can do. And he was trying to like, nah, Errol Spence. He's the up and coming. We sparred, and I'm like, man, I don't care about y'all sparring match. I ain't never seen this dude Errol Spence fight in my life. I seen Keith fight, and I seen you fight, and I want to see y'all fight. And y'all in the same sanctioning body. Work.
You know what's interesting? I'm gonna read to you another part of this article. It's interesting. He says Keith is a strange guy, man. So he says, where is it? Here we go. So he says, I'm ready to get back in with all this competition. My mind mentally would love a rematch, I guess, with Manny. I think it's a worthy rematch and a deserved rematch. It was an epic fight. It's whatever doors open. If I have to fight a Sean Porter, Mikey Garcia, Danny Garcia, I'd be surprised if Errol hops on the table right away, but there are so many opportunities. It's hard for someone to show me an opportunity and watch me say no. I could maybe take a tune-up, but I like great fights and significant challenges. You know what's strange about that? He had a Terence Crawford fight right in front of him, and he said no.
Yep, it doesn't interest him.
He said no. Realize he says if I have to fight a Sean Porter, Mikey Garcia, Danny Garcia, there's no Terence Crawford in there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. PBC is froze out anyways with this silly stuff, but yeah, that's been there on the table.
And then he goes on to say it's hard for someone to show me an opportunity and watch me say no. But you said no to Terence Crawford. I don't understand.
Right. He'll prioritize any of those other names over Bud Crawford. So if it's Mikey and Bud Crawford on the table, he's gonna take Mikey.
That's kind of crazy. So it's Keith basically saying then. Is Keith basically saying then that he gonna be chasing after Errol Spence?
Well, hey, he got his own belt.
He gonna pressure Errol Spence?
I guess. I think he is. I mean, he's gonna try to get the fight, but Errol Spence ain't caring about that.
Errol Spence already said, I'm not gonna fight you, because he said when he wanted the opportunity, Keith didn't fight him, right?
That's the truth, man. That's the truth. And it was Keith aura about it. Like Keith was acting like, he's always say, the boy this, the boy that. And the way he was just talking down on him and stuff. And Keith had two straps, he was that dude or whatever, but he went off and started doing what he did. But
yeah,
now Errol Spence is in that same spot now. So he's like, look, forget what you talking about. Shoot. I'm unified champ. What is you? You no champ. You ain't got no belt. So we know you want to fight.
That's unfortunate. I mean, Keith kind of goes around in circles. Like every time I hear Keith Thurman talk, it's always some flip-flop shit. When he was WBA champ, and this is something that I don't like. When he was WBA champ, Keith Thurman didn't defend that belt until Manny Pacquiao. He was injured with that shit. He came back. He didn't defend it. And then he fought it. I think he defended it and had a tough fight against, who was it? In New York sometime. Anyway, before the Manny fight. And then he lost in the Manny fight. Like Keith had a WBA belt for like 2 years and didn't do shit. Right?
Man, he defended his WBA though. I give him credit with his WBA. When he got the WBC, he didn't do shit with it. He beat Danny.
Which one of them belts? he was out for a long time and they wouldn't strip him. Which one of it? It was
Right.
the WBA. It wasn't it? No.
Well, the WBA was the one that he defended that, quite a few times. After, when Floyd whatever got out the way, he got upgraded to the super champ. And then he started
Oh,
defending and doing what he did. He's defended it versus Porter. He defended it versus Palazzo, a lot of guys.
yeah.
Even what's that dude that Spence knocked out? I forgot his name. The same opponent that they had, and he went 12 with him, but Errol Spence knocked him out. But anyhow, he defended his WBA, but when he got that WBC versus Danny Garcia, that was when he had whatever the surgery and all that time went by, and he never defended the WBC. He won it and then got stripped, or vacated or whatever because of the surgery. And then he let Danny and Sean fight for it, the vacant WBC.
Okay.
And then by the time he came back on the scene, he just fought Riverside Rocky.
Riverside Rocky.
What's his name? My boy that's trained by Robert Garcia. It'll come back to me, and then he fought Manny and then lost it. So
okay.
That shit went.
Get This Smoke says, screw a sanctioning body, drop the belt, and fight whomever you please. Yeah. That's his opinion.
Nah, I disagree.
Okay.
That's just no. Why we jumping ship from tradition, bro? Sanctioning bodies is there to help for guys to come up the rankings, man, and contend to be champion. Like what? So what about the guys at the bottom? Like they're just. Like,
well, I think that would happen if you're in your own organization, but as long as you have sanctioning bodies, no. But we've seen certain people have said it's not about the belts, it's about the money, right? While they're holding on to a belt. So whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's basically saying screw forget about undisputed, forget about one face in the name.
That's right.
Circus exhibitions, like Floyd do.
Yeah, well, fight some tensions or whatever. So that's Keith Thurman and Errol Spence, man. I don't know that Keith Thurman can put pressure on Errol Spence, but I don't know. Keith has a sense of entitlement that I don't think anybody else has in boxing. Like, he really thinks people owe him something. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, should be chasing after him. He don't have no belt. He wants to call shots. I don't understand. But I keep wondering, why is Terence Crawford not in his crosshairs? Why? As far as I knew, he went on some talk show sometime and gave all kinds of excuses why he won't fight for the WBO. Oh, I don't like the WBO.
That's his only option, though, Iron Cone, to get back on the scene. That's it. Manny Pacquiao probably not gonna give him a rematch, and Errol Spence not gonna fight him right now. So, Bud Crawford would, though.
He would.
Bud Crawford would, and that's a good ass fucking fight.
That's right.
That's probably arguably the best fight welterweight stylistically. If you know what I mean, if we're going talking about 100% Keith versus Bud, but look, that's a fight that to put you back on the scene. A good ass fucking fight, but you're not interested. So as long as you're looking at these little Danny Garcia rematches, or you're looking at Sean Porter, who also don't have a belt, or you're looking at Mikey's or whoever else you're looking at, hey, you're gonna be out of luck. You're gonna be chasing fights. But there's one fight that you ain't gotta chase. It's a good money fight, and it's a fight fans want to see.
Hey man, that's how it goes. I would love to see that fight, as you said, but that fight's not gonna happen. I'm not sure. I'm wondering if it's that PBC. Well, Keith's advisors are telling him not to take that fight, or Keith really is ducking Terence Crawford. I would be out of place if I said any one of these men are afraid of another man. But I don't know the science behind not fighting Terence Crawford, because all these dudes say he not good. So just go take that easy work.
Man, you know what it is, bro? I look at this guy's record. Look what he's doing at welterweight. He's destroying every opponent that's in front of him.
Yeah.
None of them are making it to the distance, bro. He's destroying them. He getting them up out of there. So, Bud Crawford don't just beat you, man. He beats a lot out of you to where you ain't gonna be the same after that. And A lot of them guys probably ain't ready to just deal with that right now. Like shit, fuck this. If this dude beat me, I might not have a couple more big paydays left in me to fulfill out here. You know what I mean? So let me get these little Mikey Garcias if I can. You know, I'll deal with flat-footed Danny Garcia again, or you know, I think even Sean Porter's a dangerous fight for Keith Thurman at this point. Be real. Just be real.
Toney says Keith would never fight Bud. If he loses to Bud after losing to Pac, his career is done. For real?
Man, Pac, Bud. If you lose to Bud, Bud will finish him off. You don't want to go from back to back Manny to Bud losses. That's devastating.
Oh. He'll be hurt. How much losses Keith Thurman has in his record? He has Manny Pacquiao.
That's it.
So hold on. So you're telling me that man has 2 losses and his career would be done?
I'm just saying there will be some. Listen, if he gets stopped, like just say if he get whooped on again, back to back, Manny to Bud Crawford, he's not going to be the same as what we're saying. You know.
Hell. So you okay? Okay, hold on. So you're saying if he loses two world-class fighters, or is it that Terence Crawford, the beating he might get from Terence Crawford would end his career?
Yeah, he'll be in big fights, but say he'll go from like Bud Crawford beating to like probably Errol Spence beating, because Errol Spence fight him then after that, he'll tear up Keith Thurman. So there'll be 3 losses in a row. Then he'll go from there to probably another Sean Porter rematch, then another loss, then Danny Garcia, another loss.
No,
it'll just be a downhill spiral.
Well, hold on. But is it that the number of losses he's had, or would it be the manner in which he would lose to Terence Crawford that would end his career? Because it's 2 different things. If he loses, say, a close fight, right? Like it's a split decision.
It's a momentum thing, I think. You know, it's like you're going to go from losing to Manny, then Bud going to catch him coming off that loss, say if he went there, and then he going to go from that trying to like, okay, it's not like he going to get a, to me, I just feel like how Bud would do him, yeah, it ain't going to be pretty, bro. It ain't going to just be.
Toney says he has one loss, and if he loses to Bud after Pac, he is done. He will no longer be looked at as an elite. He's been injured, and people will say he's washed up. Okay. I mean, I guess for me, I don't. I mean, people losing is not something that I really hold against them. I mean, people lose, okay. But are you saying so Keith Thurman will be relegated to the B class of 147? Because he only lost to elite fight like Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford. That don't mean other people could beat Keith Thurman. Black's gone. But that don't mean, I mean, everybody could beat Keith Thurman. If 2 elite fighters beat you, that don't mean everybody can beat you. I'm saying, 1-2 kid, what up?
Hey, what's going on, Icon? I don't think that if Thurman lost to, was it Thurman that y'all was talking about?
Keith Thurman, yeah.
Yeah, if he lost to Manny Pacquiao and Bud Crawford, I mean, those are a hell of 2 guys to lose to, man. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, if you're gonna lose, those are the 2 you're gonna lose to.
Exactly. I mean, they're elite of elite. So I mean, I wouldn't give him too much hard time for doing that, and the fact that he would even be willing to compete, you know what I'm saying, with a Bud Crawford says a lot about the guy. You know, so
right.
I mean, that's what the sport's about, right?
Right. But it's just, you know, I'm wondering if it's like I asked Black, would it be the manner in which he would lose, or is it that he just lose? Like if he lost a fight where it's like maybe a boring decision to Terence Crawford, or it's a split decision to Terence, where it's a close fight, razor thin, and he loses, would people still see him as washed up? Or would it be if Bud beats him up bad? So is it the manner in which he loses, or it's just that he loses?
I guess to the public, you know what I mean, to the average boxer fans, it'd probably be the way that he loses. But to me, it'd be like, you know, the fact that he competed, and if he looked wrong, I mean, if he looked bad against Bud, I wouldn't, you know what I mean, I wouldn't give him too much shit for that. But I mean, Bud is at that stage to where, you know, he's an elitist. So I mean, he's the elite. So I mean, if you look at it from my point of view,
Yeah.
it wouldn't matter one way or the other because the fact that he got in there with him is good, and I don't think it'll be an easy fight for Bud either. You know, I've never seen someone just whitewash Thurman, not even Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? And that was after a layoff. Like that was a competitive fight. You know, from what I seen.
Charles D, what up, man?
Ain't shit. What up?
If Keith Thurman fights Bud and loses, is he done?
Nah, that's why I got on here. I put it in the comment section. I'm like, he lost to Pacquiao, he lost to Bud. You act like he lost to somebody that was ass.
Well, Tony's adamant. He says, in his opinion, it doesn't matter how he loses. If he loses, he's done. Think about this. Before he was injured, he was looked at as the man. After the comeback, 2 losses, his aura is ruined. So Tony says, fuck that. It don't matter.
There ain't no aura. He lost to a legend and he lost to a current pound for pound rated champion.
Tony says it don't matter. Lose close, lose wide, it don't matter. You lose.
If he lose close, it's cool. He get his ass bust. Shit. It depends on how he look when he lose, and that's because he didn't get whitewashed when he fought Manny. Now, if he get in there, he get the break speed off him with Bud. I mean, either shit, it'll look bad, but look who you lost to. It ain't like you lost to some bum ass motherfucker in the division.
Also depends on the layoff too, because he been out of the ring.
Nah, fuck that. He talking cash shit right now. So whoever beats him this time, he gonna have to live with that one. Because he's talking about.
I mean, if he take the fight, yeah, it's on him. I'm just saying, you know.
I'm
talking
about against anybody. The way he's talking, because he's talking about like, I feel great. I ain't got no injuries. Like he has no excuses if something happens this go around, and he made that shit clear.
Yeah. Well, hey,
that's why
I'm sure he'll be talking. I'm sure he'll be talking different after the fight.
Oh yeah, if he loses, something's gonna happen.
Oh, like, you know, yeah, my shoulder, my hand, my foot. I had a, you know what I'm saying? I had a, you know what I'm saying, a bunion.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Something's gonna come up. I never fully recuperated from the first surgery, but my second one went great. Like, motherfucker, how hurt are you?
Nah, well, Ambias says Thurman losing to the guy we consider pound for pound #1 in top 5 will not mean his career. So Unbiased disagrees with Tony, man. I don't, because how do we gauge when fighters are done? Because
Unbiased said the same thing I just said. Shit. And plus he only got 2 losses. If that's the case.
My thing is, because people were telling me like if Wilder loses against Tyson Fury, he's done. Look, man, maybe one guy is just better than. That don't mean other people can, like, okay, Tyson Fury beats Deontay Wilder twice. That don't mean another motherfucker can beat him like that.
No, but that means he gonna have to work his way back up, and that aura that he got with his investment, like he's been. Look, Fury did what I did not see that ass whooping coming, but he gave it to him.
Right.
Some fighters just have the other fighter's number.
Right, but I'm saying that's what I'm saying. So like, okay, you beat like he loses twice to 2 elite fighters. How do we gauge that? Like, how does it work? Because
he got to climb his way back up to get back in that title hunt. I know that shit.
So are you saying? So are you saying then that?
So the fighters that he did, the fighters he was trying to avoid, would be the fighters he would have to fight, like the Dillian Whites. No,
I mean, okay. No, I use Wilder as an example because people were saying if he loses again, he's done. It's like with Andrew Ruiz, people were saying if he beats Joshua, he's done. I'm like, why? Maybe one guy just has your number.
Exactly.
I don't understand.
Like you take Forrest and Mosley for instance. Forrest had his number. He stayed on his ass. Like it was, you know what I mean? He had that.
Mosley could not beat him.
Right. He just could not beat him. But then you take him in Mayorga and Forrest in Mayorga. Some people got some people's number. You know what I'm saying? Look what Mosley did to Mayorga and look what Mayorga did to Forrest. You know what I'm saying? So it's just the way it is. Yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
so Keith Thurman loses to 2 of the elite because Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford are seen as the elite. Manny Pacquiao, Terence Crawford, and Errol Spence.
That's
right?
not two people. That's not bad to get beat by if you lose.
If you lose,
you just gotta work your way back up.
So Toney says he's gonna get on in a second because he gonna give us more context. So that's cool, Toney. You can get on and give us more context. I mean,
that's another thing too. How do you train for a Keith Thurman?
How do you train?
I mean, yeah, like in sparring, you're not gonna find anybody who fights like Keith Thurman, and you go get in there and spar with him. You know what I'm saying?
You don't even know what he looked like now and shit. So you just it's a crapshoot. Like shit. Is
yeah.
Am I getting one time? Am I getting the nigga who I just saw?
Or sometimes.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Which one am I getting? Fucking train for all three of them.
Yeah, train for all three of them. That's the best to do. But I'm just saying, like, there's certain guys that are dynamic that you can't really get a guy in there to emulate their style because you can say, "Oh, this dude fights just like him." Then you get in there and like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, it is what it is. I mean, I mean, like, if you take Thurman, who fights like Keith Thurman in the welterweight division? Nobody. You know, and it's just like shit. I mean, the dude's dynamic. He's explosive. He's got good feet. He's talented. He hits hard. I mean,
what was that? I couldn't catch.
He's athletic.
You said who would fight Keith Thurman?
No. I said who can emulate Keith Thurman?
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? And you can't. There's nobody that he's got his own style. And I mean, he's extremely athletic. He punches hard. He's explosive, and he just pops in and out. His style is unique. So I mean, that could give anybody problems. I've never not seen him in a close fight. So he's always competitive, like a Porter. How do you train for that guy? You know what I'm saying? Just a guy just bum rush you and throw punches from all angles nonstop. You're gonna have to keep bringing sparring partners in to even, you know what I mean, to keep up that energy.
Right.
Ain't nobody watching Porter. I mean, he had one bad performance with Ugas, but other than that, ain't nobody walking through that, man.
Toby asks, would Keith be considered a gatekeeper if he loses to Bud?
Maybe.
Maybe. Wouldn't he be too good to be a gatekeeper? Like a gatekeeper has to be a dude who is beatable by like a lower tier person. But wouldn't Keith be too good for like a lower tier dude? Like, okay. So if we have A, B, and C class in 147, A class would be who? Would be the champs, right?
Yeah.
B class would be who? Ugas and whatnot.
I think that's like an A minus.
I wouldn't put Ugas in B.
He was like an A
I
minus.
definitely would I wouldn't put him in B class.
Because if you're a gatekeeper, you're somewhere in between people who are up and comers, people who might just be coming to your division or whatever, and you're beatable to them people. So Keith Thurman as a gatekeeper, I don't know.
Gatekeepers when you're on your way out.
They tried to say Derek Chisora is a gatekeeper, but he keeps coming back. Like, I don't know.
I think a good example of a gatekeeper would be Broner.
Broner, hell no, he's a fucking punching bag.
I'm just saying, they just keep throwing him in with elite fighters. He keeps going in there, and then he just keeps getting beat. So I mean,
they know Broner get in there. He'll call you out and get in there, but shit, that motherfucker don't throw his hands.
Right. Hey, yo, what up, Toney?
Hey, what's going on, man? I don't have phone, so let me explain what I'm saying in context where you can hear it and not read it.
Toney, let me because I'm a mute for a while because I have to take a phone call. So go ahead, y'all can talk for a second, all right?
All right.
Yeah.
So to explain this, and I guess Iron Khan can catch it back on his own replay. Here's the thing with Keith Thurman, right? He was injured. He was out for a year. He got better. He tore his bicep again, was injured again, almost out for 2 years. He came back, fought a bum, looked horrible. He lost to Manny Pacquiao, right? Now, if he loses to Bud, that's 2 big losses, all right? And his only win comes to a guy who was subpar and he looked bad doing it. Here's the problem. This isn't comparable to, say, Deontay Wilder getting beat by Fury. The issue is he was inactive for almost 2 years. injured. Before that, he was the man. That was the man of the division. Keith Thurman was the man. You would never think Keith Thurman would look bad against subpar opponents. He gets better, looks subpar, fights an elite, gets beat. If he fights another elite and gets beat, he's done. Like, I'm sorry, but he's not the same fighter that he used to be. That's what
he fought Pacquiao. He looked better than when he fought Josecito Lopez. He ain't get washed. He just lost.
No, Charles. He looked horrible. It wasn't until
that's an opinion.
Hold on. Let me finish.
Against Pacquiao?
It was not until the mid to later rounds he started looking decent, and that was after Pacquiao slowed down. But in the beginning of the fight, when the old fighter was at his best, he looked fucking horrible. He got put on his.
That's bullshit. In the first round, he was whitewashing him until he ran into the left hand. He was all on Pacquiao's ass. He hurt Pacquiao plenty of times in the middle of the fight, at the end of the fight. Pacquiao stunned him too. That was a back and forth shot. Everyone focused on that knockdown, but that was not that. I mean, that was a very close fight. He didn't look horrible.
And the only reason, and if you want to talk about that flash knockdown, that was probably the key reason he got it on the cards, because the cards were close.
But listen to what 1-2 just said. He said exactly what I said. He didn't start coming on to the mid to late rounds. Pacquiao.
That's usually when he's on his bike.
Listen, Charles, listen. Pacquiao was in his 40s. We don't know what Pacquiao has left. An old man starts to look old the later the fight goes on. So you have to ask yourself, at the beginning, when Pacquiao was beating Thurman really well, what does Thurman have left? It doesn't matter that he looked good after Pacquiao slowed down. What you got to look at is when Pacquiao was fully good, when they shown, he looked horrible.
Tony Reviews, you literally put words in my mouth. I didn't say that he looked good between the mid and late rounds. I said he looked good in the first round up until he got knocked down. I said he was on his ass. I said, and then from there on in, it was a back and forth. So I didn't say that. But I think it was a fantastic fight. I thought it was a competitive fight, and I didn't think he looked that bad. To just say the dude looked awful, I don't know. I can't agree with that. That's an opinion. If you felt he looked awful in comparison to what he was at a certain time that you've seen him, I can understand that. But to say that he looked awful, I can't do that, man. I can't do that.
1-2, you literally said middle to late, what you said before.
No, I literally said in the first round he was on Pacquiao's ass up until he got knocked down, and then it was a back and forth from there on in. That's what I said.
Wait till the replay so you can hear.
Yeah, I know. Like the last time, right?
Like what time?
I got you. But I get what you're saying. If that's your opinion on it, that's fine. Shit, everybody's entitled to one. And so yeah, I get it. But I just don't think that the guy is washed. You know what I'm saying? That talent don't just disappear. Unless he just ages overnight, and that's it. He's been in competitive fights. Even when he did come back, it was rusty. He took the fight. That's on him. You know what I'm saying? Novada, it's on him. He took it.
Hold on. Who's this King Tangi? Who's this?
Hey, this is me, man. I've been going on to panels under this name.
What the
King Tangi. I have a Deontay Wilder picture on the throne.
No.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, yeah, go ahead. My bad. Sorry.
Anyways, again, I will restate this. When you are deemed the man, you are the best of the division. You get injured, you come back, you don't look as good, and then you start losing back to back, you lose all validity of still being an elite fighter. And that's what will happen if he loses to Bud. I'm telling you, you don't have to agree with me, but every news media outlet that covers boxing sports is going to say he's washed up if he loses to a Bud or Earl Spence. I promise you, if he loses back to back,
every sports media,
you're losing to the top competition in the division. You losing the champions.
Let me just put it like
Chocolatito, Chocolatito lost back to back. They washed him. They swept him under the rug, and look what he just did.
Well, hey, look. When it comes to in the case of Keith Thurman's body is breaking down. His foot speed is not what it used to be. His hand speed is not what it used to be. His stamina is not what it used to be. And even his power, he just doesn't show the same pop in his fights, to be quite honest with you. And I think that Keith Thurman's just sort of declined as a fighter over the last couple years. And think about it. If he were to lose to a guy like a Spence next year, he would have had 3 fights in the last 4 years, dating back to 2017. So I definitely think he's on a decline and could possibly relegate himself to that status.
Intangible.
Was that?
Keith Thurman fights Terence Crawford. If he loses, is he done?
Well, honestly, it really depends on what Keith Thurman thinks. If Keith Thurman doesn't have the motivation to do things anymore, and he hasn't, then he might be. I don't know. Because at the end of the day, he'll pretty much already been. If the PBC were to sacrifice him to a guy like a Terrence Bud Crawford, that means they probably don't have them in their plans anymore. So Keith Thurman probably is done.
That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point because it was not even discussed prior. You know what I'm saying? When he was the champ, it wasn't discussed.
Keith Thurman actually stated, "I'm fuck Terrence Crawford. I'm not going to fight him." Like,
it's also the same dude who says if Bud sent him a contract, he'll entertain it, and in the same breath, he doesn't like the WBO. But when fucking Jeff Horn had that belt, that motherfucker was itching to get that fucking belt off of Jeff Horn.
Just like everybody else at the PBC.
But when Bud got his hands on that strap, Keith did the same bullshit he did with motherfucking Spence. Get a belt. Once they both got a belt, that motherfucker was whistling a whole nother goddamn tune.
Not only was he whistling a whole nother tune, he was fucking whistling out there in India with his fucking wife, not even in the gym or anything like that.
He wasn't whistling. He was playing the flute.
Both things. He was doing fucking both, I think.
Slap boxing in the middle of the street. Remember that shit? I'm injured, but I'm gonna slap box random people in the middle of the street.
Well, look, Unbiased said that Manny disagrees with me and says Thurman hits hard. Look, Keith Thurman has naturally heavy hands, but he doesn't have the same pop in terms of explosive power. Like I pointed out, his hand speed just isn't the same it used to be. It's not going to be as easy for him to get guys out of there.
Intangible. Nothing about him is the same. And this is my point. Like, you see it too many times in boxing, whether it's injury, a guy, for whatever reason, just stays inactive for a long time. They go to jail, etc., etc., etc. You see guys all the time who are deemed as elites. They're gone for 2 to 3 years, and when they come back, they're never the same. And I'm just telling you, if he gets beat by Bud, if he's dumb enough to take that challenge, and he gets washed, I don't even care if it's close. He'll never be looked at the same. He'll never get you got to think about this too. He's 31 years old.
Why would it be?
He's 31 years old. If he loses to Bud, that's 2 titleists he's lost to back to back. By the time he gets another shot to get a title, he'll be fucking 34, 35, 36 years old. He's done.
Okay, you said it'd be stupid for him to fight Bud. So who the hell he's going to fight? It's lucrative. What you want to see him fight? Danny Garcia again?
Honestly, I could see them possibly sacrificing him to Sean Porter. I think that's a possible fight for Porter, especially if the Bud versus Porter fight doesn't happen. I think they might just have Thurman fight Porter, and he's going to get fucked up in that fight. And possibly maybe he can fight Garcia. Garcia does, or actually, well, Spence probably will fight him. I don't know. Maybe they could sacrifice him to Spence. Maybe Thurman will just retire at this point. I don't know. I honestly could see him retiring.
Keith's gonna show up. Keith's gonna want to fight for a big fight. He ain't gonna want to fight no dumb shit. It's gonna be a name.
What up, Iron Kong? What up, panel? So I'm gonna just say this, man. Keith Thurman's power definitely did not go away. Manny Pacquiao himself said Keith Thurman still hits hard as shit. His stamina was always like that. So Keith Thurman to me is still the same fighter. You want to say his hand speed slowed down? I don't agree with that neither. It looks the same to me. Yeah, he did look rocky in the Lopez fight because that was his first fight back, and then he fought Manny Pacquiao, a legend. So him losing to Terrence Crawford, a pound for pound consensus number 1 or 2 or 3, does not change anything for him, in my opinion. He beat Sean Porter and Danny. Those guys. Porter became a champion after he beat him. Errol Spence went life and death, looked worse than Keith Thurman when he fought him. So saying if he loses to Bud, well, then his career is done or he's finished now because he looked bad versus Manny, I don't get that.
Look, when it comes to Keith Thurman, I definitely do think his hand speed has declined. His hand speed used to be lightning fast, but against Pacquiao, he had Joe Joyce hand speed.
Okay,
It's just that Manny slowed down.
You're trolling.
See, I'm not even kidding. His hand speed was absolutely terribly slow in that fight, at least compared to what it used to be.
Intangible. Think about how good he used to be with the in and out, moving around the ring. He couldn't
exactly, dude. And as soon as he fought Pacquiao, and it wasn't even like he was severely hurt from the knockdown. As soon as he fought Pacquiao, his foot speed rapidly declined.
Okay, so what happened actually? Keith Thurman had momentum in the fight early, and Manny Pacquiao shut it down when he dropped him. That's what happened, and then Manny took over. That's all that happened. Your styles make fights, right? So Manny is what is he? An in and out fighter. What is Keith Thurman? An in and out fighter. They both jump in and out. And Manny was just after the momentum switch took over the fight, and then Keith Thurman came back later and made it competitive. That's all that happened. You know what I'm saying? Being competitive with the all-time great. I mean, come on. Like, how are you going to say his career is over after losing to Bud Crawford? Nobody washes Keith Thurman, not even Bud. So that fight itself is going to be competitive.
I'm going to tell you like this. Bud is going to wash him as bad as he washed Jeff Horn. And even Jeff Horn, as bad as he was getting beat up against Manny, looked better against Manny than Keith Thurman did, in my opinion.
Jeff Horn beat Manny Pacquiao, in my opinion.
Styles make fights, so we do know that.
And the reason why Keith Thurman was doing so well late in the later portion of the fight.
Hold on. We not gonna just leap over that shit. Are y'all niggas high?
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with that. I'll be honest.
High. What the fuck are y'all smoking? Jeff look better than fucking Thurman, and y'all niggas high?
Jeff Horn beat Pacquiao, in my opinion.
Come on, bro.
Go ahead, man. You sound like an idiot saying that.
Jeff Horn almost got stopped. Actually, if they fought in America, that 9th round, that shit would have been waved off. Like, Manny would have TKO'd Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn wasn't doing shit but getting beat up horribly in that 9th round. Honestly, I had Manny winning the fight.
I had Manny winning the fight too, but you to say that he looked better than Thurman, y'all niggas is hot.
But did the fight get waved off in the 9th round? No, it didn't. And Jeff
because they were in Australia. But to say that Jeff Horn,
the fact that you said that Thurman,
come on, bro.
You said Horn looked better than Thurman against Manny. Are you nuts?
Well, the reason why I say that is because I thought. Wait. The reason why I say that, he asked me a question. Look, I think he looked better than Thurman against Pacquiao because, well, he beat Pacquiao and Thurman didn't.
That's your opinion. He lost that fight.
Look,
no way.
Unbiased. What you just said really holds no weight because you said in America it would have got waved off with a TKO. That's your opinion. That's the same argument that Deontay Wilder fans had against Tyson Fury in the first fight, where they said, "Oh, well,
no, it's not even close to being the same."
Hold on. Let me finish. Any other referee outside of Jack Reese would have waved the fight off in the 12th round. Well, it didn't get waved off, and it did continue. So you have to go by what happened after the fact.
Thurman almost got knocked out too. He got hit with the body shot in the 9th round and started crying in the middle of the ring.
Jeff Horn wasn't even throwing punches back in the 9th round. Okay, he was getting. There were so many unanswered punch. No, Thurman actually responded. Yeah, he got hit. He spit out his mouthpiece, and then he went back in the kitchen and started fighting. Jeff Horn was getting his ass beat all around the ring. No punches in returning. Like, you could say if it wasn't or whatever you want to say, compare it to Tyson Fury being on his ass and a long count, but that's not even close to being the same. You know what I mean? We've seen fights in America be stopped when the guy just gets hit 3 times and then they wave the shit off. Like, bro, Jeff Horn was getting his ass beat all around the ring. To say that Jeff Horn had more success or was better of a fighter at that time than Keith Thurman versus Manny, I don't get that.
Look, yes,
that's your opinion.
He was not better in the 9th round than Keith Thurman was in the whole fight. But fights are not decided by one round. If you look at the rest of the fight, he was beating Manny up against the ropes.
No,
and he was pretty much beating him with force.
No, it wasn't.
Bro,
you
are high. Like, he was getting beat.
What fight were you watching?
Bro, he wasn't beating Manny up against the rope. He was roughing Manny up, bullying him. He wasn't beating Manny up against the rope.
Okay, and to be honest with you, what does Manny do when that's your time to get off on Manny? Because Manny just freezes up on the ropes and just puts his hands up and gets hit and then says, "Come on, give me some more," and hits himself in the head and then gets back to work.
Manny, except for guys like Margarito, he's not very good against sort of dirty brute force guys. Like, he's struggled with him. He struggled with Agapito Sanchez, Drew in that fight. In fact, I mean, he's had some problems with those guys in the past. So I mean,
I didn't even have Jeff Horn legitimately winning the fight. I didn't. I thought Manny, Manny was giving it to him, bro.
I personally had Manny beating Jeff Horn, but I had it a lot closer.
So, okay, wow. So see, look, you just come on, bro. You're contradicting your whole entire point. Like, what are you talking about? Now you have Manny beating. You had him winning, and then you're saying that. Hold on, let me finish. Right. So one of them legitimately almost got stopped in a round, and guess who that is? Jeff Horn. But you just said Keith Thurman didn't do as good as Jeff Horn, but it was competitive. Whereas Jeff Horn was getting just destroyed in the 9th round.
And in the 9th round.
And in the 10th round and going forward. Like, he was getting beat up all around the ring, bro. The ref had to step to him and say, "You need to show me something or I'm waving it off." That didn't happen with Keith Thurman.
Okay,
so that probably thought Timothy Bradley beat Pacquiao the first go around too, didn't you?
No, I didn't have Bradley winning that fight. I thought Pacquiao was robbed there.
So
okay, just asking.
I had it
just making sure how high y'all really are today.
I had it a very close fight. I gave it to Manny Pacquiao, but it was a close fight. Manny was getting bullied. He was getting pushed around, moved around all throughout the fight. Yes, Manny had that 9th round, but a fight, as Intangible said, is not decided by one round unless you get the TKO, unless you get the TKO or towel thrown in. That's not it. So when I look at the entirety of all 12 rounds, in my opinion, Jeff Horn did better than Keith Thurman did against Manny Pacquiao. Way better.
It wasn't just that. It wasn't just the 9th round. That's what you're not understanding.
Look, if you want to talk about Keith Thurman showing a better look, oh my God, bro, dude. If you want to talk about maybe him having a better array of skills and showing more skills against Manny than Jeff Horn, fine. But Jeff Horn's game plan was executed, in my opinion, definitely better than Keith Thurman's. Hence, Keith Thurman losing.
What? Leaning, holding, and bumping? That's what he was doing.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Exactly he was getting, bro. When they were boxing, Manny was whooping his ass.
But they weren't boxing.
I don't know how you know, but when they did, he was losing.
But
and what is the sport called? What is the sport called? Boxing. He was getting beat up, bro. I don't get it. Yes, I like Jeff Horn as a fighter a little bit because he's rough, rugged, and he goes in there to win. But bro, he was getting beat up.
But he wasn't in a position to where he was outboxing.
Whereas Keith Thurman at points was outboxing Manny and making it a competitive fight. Jeff Horn, one almost got stopped again, and one didn't, and was competing.
Sure, he showed a greater array of skills than Jeff Horn. But
make sense what you're saying.
But if you're beating somebody against the ropes, that's not necessarily outboxing them. That's pressuring them. And you're talking about Manny outboxing Jeff Horn, but he wasn't in that position for a lot of the fight where he could.
No, but he was.
That's your opinion.
What rounds did you even? Oh my God, bro! What rounds did you give Jeff Horn?
I haven't watched the fight in quite some time.
Yeah, go rewatch it, please.
But I gave Jeff Horn the fight 7-5.
Okay, yeah.
Dude, you saw 7 rounds and give the horn.
Yes. Now, look, I get the ESPN commentary and the CompuBox punch stats were, very in favor of Manny.
I don't pay attention to any of that. I watched the fight on mute, dog. I'm still trying to see where you seen 7.
Nah,
Yeah,
shit,
I would have to disagree with you guys. Like, Charles D and Unbiased and D Jeff and Teddy Atlas, because I didn't see that fight as a win or as competitive as you guys may have seen it. I've seen a lot of mauling. I mean, I know some fighters do that, but it is boxing, and it was somewhat successful. But as like you said, Intangible, when it came to skills and just sitting there and boxing and these guys going back and forth, it was extremely competitive when it came to Thurman and Manny Pacquiao.
But wait, that's not boxing. That's not the reality of the sport. Like, you can't say because one guy's a more technical boxer, he automatically wins by default, because that's not boxing. You've got
no, I didn't say that.
No, but listen, you got guys who are just stay on your chest like Sean Porter all night long. That's how they fight. You got sharpshooters like Mayweather that'll box you. You got guys like Jeff Horn that'll rough you up. That's boxing. When Jeff Horn was pressuring Manny, he was beating him in them times where they were in the pocket, stuck together. He was manhandling Manny. I had it a lot closer. I gave it to Manny. But in my opinion, boxing is not decided by when they're at range, who's the better boxer. That's not what decides. The winner is who decides who's the better boxer at the end of the day. And in my opinion, Jeff Horn looked a lot better against a younger Manny Pacquiao than Keith Thurman did against an older Manny Pacquiao.
But let's be honest, though. He took the fight on regular ESPN because he needed to pay off debt for in the Philippines. So he probably wasn't at his best that night. He kind of just came in to go get his check from Arum.
Then Aaron kicked him to the curb right after that fight, pretty much.
Yeah. Like, he was in serious debt issues, and he was pretty much Arum was done using him. He ended up signing with Ari Heyman. I think that was the right move, to be honest.
Worked out. I had Manny winning the fight versus Jeff Horn. Also had Manny winning the fight versus Thurman. I feel like Thurman, in my opinion, he looked better versus Manny than Jeff Horn did. He just did. He took some punishment, but man, I don't think any other welterweight would have been standing in that 9th round versus Manny. Like, the punishment that Jeff Horn took in that fight was crazy.
Well,
you could tell he was huge for you could tell he was big for the division by the amount of punishment he was taking and just standing. You know what I mean? So he was a big guy.
Yeah, but look at what Bud did to the same Jeff Horn. They tried to fight him the same way. That's why this all comes back full circle to if Thurman goes in there against Bud and gets beat just as bad as Jeff Horn did against Manny. I cannot see how he recovers from that. I just cannot see.
Well, that's a different conversation from what you initially said. But you're saying if he gets washed or destroyed by Bud, then his career is over from a career beating. That's what you're trying to say.
Okay, let me retract then and retrace to go 100% in. Even if he loses a close fight to Bud, let's say it's competitive and close, I do not see how he recovers from it. He loses to 2 champions, 2 elites back to back. He was once thought of as an elite, the best man of the division. He comes back from injuries, loses now to 2 top guys. He's 31 years old, will probably be 32 by the time he fights Bud, if they fight next. He doesn't have enough years left in the tank to even recover from it. He's done.
Okay, so if that's how you feel, if he loses to Crawford, so then Porter's washed, then is what you're telling me.
No, it's a different. See, what you're trying to do is no. Look, Charles, what you're trying to do is you're trying to compare 2 things that are non-relatable. What I'm trying to tell you is, if Thurman would have never been injured, if he would have never got hurt, if he would have never been out for almost 2 years, then it would be a different scenario. It would be a different situation. But because he was injured 2 times back to back, has not looked the same.
Well, he's saying, okay, I get what you're saying, but he's saying he's not injured no more. He's saying he's 100%. This is shit coming out of his mouth. So if that's the case, then Porter's washed.
And if he is, look, he could say whatever he wants. He could say he could fart and it causes him to fly. That doesn't mean it's the truth. The reality is what happens in the ring. The reality is how he performs.
The reality is Thurman lost what? Porter lost 3 times. All champions. He ain't washed.
But
That's the reality of it.
I don't think. Let me just say this real quick. I'm gonna just say this. I don't think he'll be washed, right? If you want to say he won't be the elite of the division, that's an opinion. I still think there's big fights for him if he loses to Bud. The way that you're saying, like a close competitive fight that he loses to Bud, I don't think will do any harm to his career because he could still go on Fanny or Porter and make money in that. You know what I'm saying? There's still big fights for him in the division. It's not really going to hurt his career. It won't be over, is my opinion.
The way I see it, there's only 3 elite welterweights. That's Crawford, Manny, and Spence. It's just my opinion. And I don't think Keith will come back to that level yet.
It's crazy because after Manny lost to Jeff Horn, people were saying he wasn't elite, right? Until he beat Keith Thurman. Now he's elite, right?
No.
Yeah, I mean, hey, styles make fights.
That was my whole point. Styles make fights. And that's why I don't think Keith Thurman looked better than Jeff Horn.
Yeah, look.
Real quick. Hey, Intangible,
exactly what I said.
I gotta go. I ain't even really said too much. I just jumped in and say, ain't nobody gonna tell me this. I just heard the statement that Keith Thurman was better than Jeff Horn in the fight versus Manny. Ain't no fucking way nobody in this world gonna tell me that Jeff Horn looked better in the fight versus Manny Pacquiao. Jeff Horn cannot box, bro. He cannot box. That crap he did in that fight versus Manny Pacquiao, all of that roughing and wrangling around the ring, bro, that ain't boxing. Don't tell me that he looked better in a fight versus Manny Pacquiao than Keith Thurman. Man, a lot of people think Pacquiao was robbed in that fight. So, like, I'm not even trying to hear that. That's all
including Toney.
What I'm saying though, is look, if you want to say that Keith Thurman showed a greater array of skills than Jeff Horn, then fine. Then you could say he looked better and more graceful inside the ring than Jeff Horn. But if you want to talk about who executed the game plan better,
he looked better all around, period.
He took less punishment, that's for sure.
I mean, it was a different fight. It was a tale of sort of 2 halves.
Hey,
it was more competitive, is what you're trying to say.
Real quick,
competitive.
Hold on, right quick. Hold on, right quick. Thanks for having me on, fam. I got to dip off.
Be safe, D.
All right.
Again, to D's point, if you're going to say that the way Jeff Horn fought Manny was bad, that's not real boxing, then you've got to discredit every Mexican style fighter there's ever been because they fight the same way. They get in the pocket, they rough them up, they maul you. So that means Barrera.
So now Jeff Horn's Mexican style?
They're not great fighters because that's how they fought.
No, bro,
Eric Morales and Marco Antonio Barrera fought nothing like Jeff Horn.
Whoa.
Hell no.
Whoa.
Did you compare Jeff Horn to Barrera and Morales?
Barrera and Morales? Are you nuts?
Come on,
guys. Come on.
I'm telling you, dog. I'm telling you.
Mexican style.
What were y'all smoke? What were y'all smoking today?
Let me just say this real quickly, man. Even though I think
past that shit,
let me just say, bro, Eric Morales fucking took Pacquiao to school in their fight.
You're missing the point. I did not compare Jeff Horn to being on the same level. What I'm saying is
not even the same style, bro. What are you talking about?
Let me finish. What I'm saying is you cannot say mauling a fighter and roughhousing them is not boxing because it is.
Not even the same class.
Bruh, you're not even listening to what I'm saying. You're comparing the fighters. I'm not comparing the fighters. I'm comparing the style of roughing somebody up, mauling somebody. That is still boxing.
Yo,
that is still comparing styles. No matter how you want to switch the words.
Hold on. Eric Morales is not a fucking mauler and a pressure fighter. He fights nothing like Jeff Horn in terms of stylistically.
Thank you.
He's a mid-range, sort of like a counter-punching, busy type of a fighter. He does not get inside and rough people up. Most of the guys he fought, he was actually not even as strong as. You can't compare the two. And that's a pretty broad brush to say, Mexican style of fighting, because there's a lot of different styles of Mexican fighters.
All right, gents. We've flogged this horse to death. What's the consensus? Keith Thurman putting pressure on Errol Spence. Keith Thurman. Is Keith Thurman done if he loses to two elite fighters back to back? 1-2 kid.
He still has a career. It's not over.
I think he still has a career and it's not over. But I understand where these guys are going. What they're trying to say is the accumulation of his inactivity and his injuries. And they see a decline. But he still has natural talent. He still has power. He's still explosive. Whether he's as quick or as he once was, that's debatable. We can debate all day. But the fact of the matter is, he still got what it takes to be in that tier, I think.
Charles D. Charles D. Gunn. Unbiased.
Yeah, I second what 1-2 just said. Yeah, for sure. If somebody wants to say he's not at the top, that's cool. To say his career is done completely, I don't agree with that at all. He still has what it takes to fight the Ugases, to fight the rematch with Danny, a rematch with Porter. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say his career is done because he lost to a consensus top pound for pound fighter. You know what I mean? I just don't agree with that. And his loss to an all-time great in Manny Pacquiao. His career is not going to be over to me. I think he still has a lot of fights left in him.
Intangible.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't think Keith Thurman's an elite welterweight anymore. I think he's kind of off there, and I think he's just kind of physically declined. His body's just broken down. And whether his career is over, whether he's done at fighting on the high levels of boxing, it honestly kind of depends on the fashion he loses. Because if he loses a competitive, like a 7-5, 8-4 type of fight, maybe he's able to stagger Spencer Crawford. He gets to continue in his career, but he's probably just on the Danny Garcia, maybe Sean Porter level. But if he just gets his ass destroyed, and he just gets run through, which I don't quite see happening, but I don't see him being super competitive. If he were to just get knocked out by Spencer Crawford, then, I mean, the PBC is probably just going to push him to the back burner, honestly. He might be done. And his motivation, honestly, just hasn't been the same from what I've seen. Just blowing up in the middle of camp.
I just forgot this one point, right? Because I hear you guys keep saying about injuries and stuff. Like, a lot of fighters got injuries. Like, Floyd got a lot of injuries too. Fighters get injuries. Just because you get injuries doesn't mean your career is going to decline faster or not.
But I mean, that is kind of just in conjunction with many other things. And the thing is, he was out for 2 years because of an elbow injury, 2 straight years. I mean, that's not like something he's able to recover from in maybe a year, maybe he has a fight a year later. He was out for 2 years and hasn't looked very good.
Right.
Charles in terms of an elite fighter. Anyways.
Listen, his career ain't over if he loses. If he loses the Bud, you act like he lost to a bum. He still got a future in the welterweight division. That's
Tony,
it. It ain't over for.
You pretty much started this topic. Did anybody change your mind?
So to give my closing thought, this is how I look at it. Before Keith Thurman was injured, I looked at him as the man of the division. I looked at him as the true test to see how good people were. Since his injury coming back, he has not looked the same. He has not performed the same. And if he gets beat by another elite, then I can say that his career is done. When I say a career is done, I do not mean he'll stop boxing. I mean, he is now a gatekeeper. He is now a journeyman. He will never be back up there in that title contention level, especially when you consider he's 31 years old. By the time he fights if he fights Bud next or Earl next, he'll be 32 years old. He's out of time. He's now a journeyman for the rest of his career, and he's not the same.
Okay. There's some meat on that bone. I realize everybody jumped off, but that's all right. My wrap-up topic is going to be Mr. Jarrell Miller, who Bob Arum has said is dropping from the top rank contract. Now, it's weird because Bob Arum jumped out the window and said he believed Jarrell Miller when he signed him after he was dropped by Matchroom. He believed Jarrell Miller, and Jarrell Miller, didn't take anything, and he signed him up. Now Bob Arum is saying he's done with Top Rank, and if we were just talking about people who are done in boxing, is Jarrell Miller finished in boxing?
I think so. I think so. I mean, We don't know every win that he has and every performance that he has is now under question. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
we don't.
And then when's the next time he's gonna perform?
Right. And
Because we don't know how long this ban gonna be.
Yeah, that's the main thing. How long is he going to be banned for? And then the flip side of that is who the hell is going to trust to give him a contract? Who's going to pay this man, knowing that he might pop hot on the very next fight?
Well, it was just interesting reading it, and Bob Arum was saying, you know, he did fall through a loop because he wasn't licensed when he got popped or whatever, so he didn't get suspended, but he was licensed by the Nevada sanctioning people, and he might get a multi-year life sentence. Jarrell Miller is not exactly a young person, and you know, he's not old, but
That's why we said how long the ban is.
But he's not at the point where he can afford like multi-years out the sport. You know what I'm saying?
it sucks too because you know, I enjoyed watching him fight up to that point to where he got popped, and then for him to just do it again.
There you go. Smoke said Bob didn't just drop him; he tried to blackball him too. So he's, I mean, I don't know, man. Jarrell is at a point where right now he should be getting those big fights. Like he should be involved in championship fights because he's kind of peaked in his boxing career or something like that. Like right now, and if he gets a 3-year ban, I think Sporting said that they might have issued a 3-year ban or something. 3 years out of his career right now, I think would be career fatality.
Well, let me say this. Let's say he gets a slap on the wrist, because this is actually the official first time he's ever actually truly been caught. This is the only time they can use against him. So say let's say he gets the standard 6-month ban, right?
Yeah.
Because it's only the first time. So he comes back 6 months later. Let's say somebody like Don King picks him up because he doesn't really have a deep stable anymore. The real question is, who the hell would even want to fight him knowing that he's a multi-time drug cheat? Could he even get a big name fighter to even fight him?
It's a fact.
That's a fact, because people gonna be like, nope.
Shit, they gonna have to stringently test.
Hello?
Charles lost Charles D. Exactly. Like you got to go through all types of tests. People ain't gonna want to risk their life in there with someone who's cheated numerous times. You know what I mean? And like I said, his career is in question now. You know, you put that question mark over it yourself for the mistakes that you made, all that whining and crying you did about the first time and how you apologized, and then to get caught for the same shit over again is just ridiculous. And as a pro athlete, you should know what's going in and out of your body. So I don't want to hear excuses. You know what I mean? I got on Canelo about that shit. It's like, how does this guy not know that this stuff is in him and he's been in elite this far? You know what I'm saying? So for Jared Miller, hell yeah, I'm a tear into him too. You know, it's just like, it is what it is. When you're at that point and you make that type of money and you're in that type of, in that division, and you got all the spotlight on you and you making mistakes like that in the open, like it just seemed like, oh, it's okay, I'll get clipped for this and I'll be good. And even the way he's handling himself in it, it's like, you know, and the way that they're talking about it, well, you know, this is the first time he got caught. So, you know, all the loopholes that's in the, you know, in the regulations of him getting away with the shit. It's like, nah, man, it is what it is. We seen it. We know what it is. Now you got to either come in there clean, point blank period, and attempt, or we don't even know who's going to show up. Is it going to be the same guy, or is it just the juice? You know what I mean? So, you know,
Bob Arum pretty much banned him from. He said he would never fight on a top rank card ever. So he's banned from Top Rank, and he's not going to fight in Matchroom. So, as you said, maybe Don King, you know, put him into the fight Trevor Bryant. I don't know. It's just unfortunate how a young man.
If Bob Arum said that, right, Eddie Hearn has also said that. So that's two major promotional companies that won't even entertain him fighting one of their fighters. So and now PBC doesn't even have a title. So who does he fight?
But there's good fights for him. Well, I don't even know if PBC is going to touch Jarrell Miller. PBC not going to touch Jarrell Miller.
No. saying, what
He
I'm
gonna
saying.
fight. He gonna fight his conscience for making the mistakes. That's what he gonna. He may have 3 years to think about that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because he just literally kicked his fucking career to the curb. You
yeah.
know?
My point was this: if Eddie Hearn won't let him fight one of his fighters, and
Yeah,
Bob Arum won't let him fight one of his fighters, the
yeah,
only fight he could really fight that have anything is PBC, but they lost their title. They have Andrew Ruiz. I think Ajagba actually just left. They got Kalnaki, but who's to say that Al Heyman would even want to deal with him and risk losing all that money when he pops hot?
wow, right. But even if whatever, because he's not gonna fight Kawanaki. He already fought Gerald Washington, I think. So who does he fight? He's not gonna fight what? Because Wilder's not gonna give him the time of day. Wilder don't like that dude at all. And it's just unfortunate, man. A young man like this, we were just talking about a person who might be done. This dude might really, really be done. You know what I mean? And that's crazy. Just a cautionary tale to all the young fighters, bro.
The thing is, with Keith Thurman in Keith Thurman's defense, you can't help an injury. That's something that's unavoidable. What
Right.
Miller did could have been avoided. It's his own fault. That's why I really don't feel bad for him. Like, he did it to himself. And to get caught twice with the same drug, come on.
Yeah. Well, anyway, man, I want to thank y'all for joining me today, man. I really, really appreciate it. I was on my break. So thank y'all again.
Thanks for having us on, Con.
Yeah, man. Y'all
Always a pleasure, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right, Tony. You guys enjoy your rest of your day.
Hey,
later, y'all. What up?
Message me on my page, because you made a statement. It was the second time I put words in your mouth. Message me on my page and let me know what you're talking about.
All right, cool.
All right, again,
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Peace. Hey, thank y'all in the chat, man, for coming on Get This Smoke, Sporting Advantage, JP, Toby Bartlett, Abs, my guy, Angel Santos. He didn't come on today, man. Sporting Advantage, Sister Lisa Bales, Toby, my guy Charles D, Unbiased D, everybody, man. Black. And thank y'all as usual, man. Hit the like on your way out. Peace and power. Have a nice day.